Hi guys, welcome back to another StarCraft 2 replay cast, and as you can see from the thumbnail, we're going to be seeing some quite interesting strategies here in between the two pro players. Indeed, there were going to be some Banshees in the airs and some Cyclones, very rare sight here, Cyclones by MARU, quite an interesting strategy. Is it going to work out versus one of the best Zergs? Let's have a look as we have spawning here in the low left in the blue. It is MARU, currently considered the best player, the best Terran in the world, and his opponent here Dark spawning in the upper right as the red Zerg, one of the most talented Zergs players, of course, along with SERRAL. Yeah, Dark also going for a Dark Swarm. Oh, sorry, no, some Swarm hosts. Dark Swarm is, of course, from Starcraft 1. This is Starcraft 2, so Dark deciding to go also for a very unusual tactics here with some worms on the ground and with some swarm hosts. Let's have a look if this is going to work out for him. So quite two different and very unusual strategies here as the spawning here on Tropical Sacrifice. And yeah, let's see what their build orders are. Currently Dark going for a usual normal build order here with a fast expansion into gas and then a spawning pool. And we see actually the difference here for MARU is going for a macro command center. So fast command center into barracks. We've seen this in the GSL tournament. Many Terrans do this. It is of course really risky in case your Zerg goes for a rush versus you, but usually many Zergs like to advance into their fast expansion, actually into their second expansion here as well, around the 2-minute and 30-second mark. So of course the overlords also out here on the map for Dark as he's scouting for those proxy barracks, but no such thing, of course, by MARU as he's preparing here his macro-oriented game. So very greedy, a very nice gameplay here by MARU as he's going for a fast expansion first into barracks and double gas. Let's check once again. Dark really quick. Pretty standard stuff. We're closing in towards the 2-minute and 30-second marks. The first drones are being brought here into the first expansion point, and there is of course that drone which is heading straight towards the second expansion point here. So pretty standard stuff here by Dark. First Zerg is also out. The first queens are also being made. You can see the production tab in the upper left part. And yeah, we're about to find out if indeed this unusual, especially for a Terran, unusual tactics. Usually Terrans will like to go into their bio, into their medivacs with Marines just to constantly harass their opponent, their Zerg opponent. But this time MARU decides to go for mech, for those Cyclones, for those Banshees in the air. And yeah, quite interesting stuff here by him. But some Helens also can be seen into the thumbnail, so a little bit of a, of course, spoiler for you, a little bit of too much information, but then again trying of course to give as much information from the thumbnail just in case you guys are interested for some unusual strategies here in StarCraft 2. So yeah, worker wise we pretty much have the same worker amount, 27 to 23. First Zerglings are out on the map. Speed is not yet being done. It should be done as the first Helens are also being produced, and we also have that starport. So we might see an harassment, first harassment here by MARU with those Helens into one medivac. The Zerglings are of course getting spread around the map. Actually we do have quite a consistent number of Zerglings here for Dark, so he might try an attack really soon. 6 into this location, 6 here as well as the attack is happening. There's only one Marine, but there were 2 Helens into the main. The doors are getting shut here by MARU. The 2 Helens are still getting produced, so these SCVs are dancing here, but yeah, there are those Helens, and surely MARU should hold, but his expansion is pretty much exposed. So this is exactly the problem. If you go for a greedy expansion build order by the Terran, you are of course exposed as 9 SCVs have been killed. Of course the Helens need to stay back. In case they would have moved out, Dark could have easily surrounded them with so many speed Zerglings here. So quite a great start here for Dark versus his opponent. His second expansion is also out. More drones are getting produced. Let's check his main tier 2 is not yet on the way. But yeah, pretty great start here. So MARU already quite behind if you ask me, as Dark already at 36 workers. We see one Viking in the air taking care of a overlord, so that's really good here for MARU as he's checking the proximity for some overlords. But yeah, Dark with a great start. 9 SCVs have been killed. MARU has to call in some mules. And yeah, mule here into the main. Let's check his main. There is the first Banshee being made, and straight strong force here of Hellions, around 7 Hellions of course, to end off any Zergling attack. And we even have the blue flame igniter, so we might see an attack, a straightforward attack here by MARU versus Dark. He might go for this expansion. It's quite good because there's so many drones here. We even have a roach warrant, but yeah, in comes MARU with his Hellions. Queens of course will respond. But Queens are really tanky against those Hellions blue frame. Not the same can be said here for those drones. Dark is nicely microing those drones. He's nicely spreading them. Only 2 drones have been killed luckily here for him. Some Zerglings will fall here as well, but somehow miraculously Dark only taking 2 casualties, as the Hellions will be held off in the end. Only 1 Hellion makes it out alive. Maybe he's lucky enough to shoot down some drones, but no, a really bad start here for MARU and a great start for Dark versus his opponent. That spread, that micro by Dark, really outstanding into this location. So might even say a lucky spread when Hellion is still alive, but yeah, Dark with a great early game versus his opponent. Not only that, but he's deciding to attack. However, there is a Banshee in the air, so we have a Roach timing push with some Zerglings straight forward here towards MARU. MARU is shutting down the gates, as this one tank is also really important for him. After a failed rush with those Hellions, he now only has some Hellions. This one Banshee really important. SCVs have to be called to repair those supply depots. Not that many Ravagers here for Dark, so I believe MARU should be fine here with 2 Banshees in the area. Yes, indeed, he should be fine, as he's once again sending out some Hellions, so maybe this time he's going to be lucky, but only 3 Hellions, and look at how tanky this one Ravager is versus those Hellions. Quite a rough early game for MARU. Finally he's able to take some kills. Really important now for him to slowly but steadily come back after quite a bad start. We see some Spores versus those Banshees in the air, so Dark seems to be prepared for that. Quite nice stuff, as his tier 2 has also been finished. And let's have a look when exactly his transition is going to happen. Once again, MARU is trying to attack with his Hellions, but immediately gets shut down by Dark. And we even see a Spire now, so interesting enough, a Spire is going to be here, or we're going to be seeing some Mutalisk. We're about to find out here for Dark, as things have settled down a little bit. Finally MARU can establish his defensive position. He's also adding some armories for his upgrades for those mech units. Let's have a look. Are the first Cyclones being produced? No, but we actually see a quadruple factory here, so a very rare sight for any Terran versus a Zerg. MARU decides to go mech, might even add some tanks, he might even add more Hellions, but we also saw those Cyclones. And is this indeed going to work out for him? Cyclones versus a Zerg, quite a rare sight, as the Banshees are still in the air, kiting back and forth, killing some Zerglings left and right. Have 3 kills onto this one, but those were also Roaches. And yeah, Dark seems to be ready with an Overseer, as he's also moving here out on the map. We might see even a Nidus Swarm added really soon by him. There's this one Cyclone, an important unit against those Overseers. And yeah, Dark with a great scouting mission now here with his Overseer, gets killed down in the end. So yeah, like I told you, things have settled down a little bit. We are closing in towards the 10-minute mark, as we also see an Infestation Pit and a Nidus network indeed. So soon Dark might try his out of the ordinary strategy with those Swarm hosts, as another hatchery is about to get finished here for him. MARU brings out his Hellions, trying of course to kill every creep egg, as many creep eggs as possible, just to not allow Dark to spread that creep around the map. So yeah, still Dark with a great defense, as Roaches are out. And I believe the first Swarm host there are, yes indeed, 9 Swarm hosts are being produced all of a sudden here by Dark, as he only needs an Overseer into a near location. And yeah, those Swarm hosts really strong, as they just trade mana, as they just trade a time for those Locusts to build those Locusts in the air. But however, we do see MARU now pushing strong forward. He might snipe one Queen. MARU really fast into healing those Queens. We do have an Overseer in the air, so MARU still not quite punching here forward, still not punching the macro game for Dark, as the defenses from Dark are really strong. And now finally we see the first Nidus Swarm with the Swarm hosts on the ground, and some overlords have also been upgraded with their speed. So this is the first location being taken here by Dark with his nice Neither Swarm, the first Swarmers are out. I believe it's around 9 of them. Let's have a look. The first eggs are about to get launched here towards MARU's location. This expansion point is under threat. The locusts, sorry, the swarm souls are a little bit exposed as the first eggs are being launched here towards MARU's position. There we have those Cyclones underground, some Hellbats, some Hellions will of course be needed. Dark really deciding not to allow MARU to expand more, nicely harassing him here, so 4 SCVs, even 5 will be killed as MARU is aggressively expanding all over the map. And yeah, some SCVs, 8 of them have been killed, but we actually see yet another Night Swarm. Is MARU nearby? Of course he's scouting the proximity with some of his Banshees, and at the same time we see some Zerglings move out here for Dark, so MARU really has to take care of this. Luckily for him, his Cyclones are in this location, so he should be able to take this out really nicely. So Cyclones with Banshees, quite a rare sight. I believe some tanks are in the back just to secure the proximity. Yes indeed, those tanks of course really important. Let's see Dark once again marching forward with his Swarm Horse, laying his eggs. Yeah, there are those locusts in the air, slowly but steadily making it their way forward towards the next expansion point. Maybe some SCVs will be in danger really soon, as Dark with a outstanding strategy here versus the Terran 1 tank. The second tank has been finished here as well, so even 2 SCVs. So like I told you, Dark just trading that energy from those swarm hosts, just having those Nidus spread it all over the place. But MARU is also nicely scanning the area. However, one Overlord is still alive. We might see a Nidus swarm really soon into this location here, as well as the Cyclones are here. And yes indeed, we do have this one here as BYUN, sorry, MARU is building some barracks here, but this Nidus swarm might get finished. MARU really needs those Banshees in the air, and at the same time we also have an attack here, so MARU is pretty much busy fending this off as in comes Dark with his swarm host straight into the production tab, straight into the production line here. The buildings will be exposed really soon, so many locusts straight into the main from MARU, as they will be able to take care of those production buildings. Finally in come the Banshees, but the first factory is about to get finished really soon. Luckily here for MARU, very nice snipe with that worm. Dark not paying attention, so his locusts are pretty much exposed now. So what a great stuff here by MARU in the end. MARU Dark tries to punch you forward with some banings, with some high risk, but MARU is able to hold with those tanks in the back, with the Cyclones in the front and the Hellions. Even has those Banshees in the air, so quite a mistake here by Dark that has cost him quite some important units here. The Swarm Hosts have been killed. At the same time, Dark is nicely trying to abuse that Nidus Swarm, but MARU is being present all over the world with those Banshees, so quite a strong comeback here by MARU. But is it going to be enough? Of course, remember the expansions haven't been punished here by MARU, as there's already 100 workers actually for MARU, so quite a surprise. Look at him come back really strong, and he has quite a global presence here with those Banshees in the air, with the fast moving Cyclones. We see the Banshees move out now forward straight towards the expansion point, as 2, even 3 drones have been killed really fast. So 100 workers it is indeed here for MARU, only 80 supply of an army. As in comes Dark, as he has transitioned into some Hydra-Risk. We might see even some lurkers by him. We might even see some Ultra-Risk, and yeah, the Swarm Hosts are still present here, as they will be able to snipe 2, even 3 tanks. So great pickouts here by Dark, as he's able to snipe those important units. And yeah, remember, only using energy from those Swarm Hosts, so not trading any minerals or gas. So once again, he's moving into safety into this one Nidus Swarm. So yeah, quite a strong game here indeed by Dark. But yeah, MARU somehow coming back, even having now 101 workers. So quite a macro orientated MARU here with some mech units. Almost getting supply finished here, supply blocked with 200 of a supply, and nicely kiting here back and forward with his Banshees. But at the same time, Dark seems to be going for a different attack position now really soon. Let's have a look. MARU has to retreat. At the same time, once again the eggs have been laid, and in comes the attack with those locusts. But there are Hellions on the ground, there are Cyclones in the air going at the ground, and yeah, the first units will fall. Or is Dark going for this one command center? No. At the same time, in comes Dark with some nice parasitic bombs, a great counter towards all of those Banshees. MARU is trying to micro them out of danger, but he has so much splash damage. Oh yeah, the Vipers, great decision here for Dark versus his opponent, really causing so much damage, so much splash damage towards those Banshees in the air. So quite a strong spell to have as a Zerg versus the Terran, especially versus the air Terran. And yeah, now we even have some ghosts on the ground. There will be some sniping going on against those Hydras, but so many Hydras here for Dark. As he's feeling confident to stay alive, he might even try to snipe those SCVs on the ground. The Banings are getting some great connections, the reinforcements are pouring here forward. There are some tanks on the high ground. Dark needs to be careful, and so many SCVs will fall here for MARU, but in the end the Ghosts will be able to hold the location. So many SCVs in the red, but remember MARU had 101, now he has dropped to 87 as another Locust Swarm is being launched here towards MARU. Dark going straight towards this one planetary fortress, but the SCVs are here ready to repair. Still 14 SCVs have been killed, so quite an interesting game we have so far in between these two pros, and quite extraordinary gameplay and strategy as we have a transition now into Ghost. Of course, Ghosts, much needed unit just in case there will be some Ultralisk later on. Also good versus those Vipers in the air. But I believe MARU will stop producing Banshees for now. This is indeed going really heavily into those tanks, into those Ghosts, and you might even see some more Cyclones by him. Or what exactly his plans are. He's really expanding heavily now all around the map, sending out his Hellions. There are some Hydras by Dark on standby. Once again, Dark is moving forward with some Lurkers. Tanks are on the ground, dealing quite great splash damage. The Bangs doesn't really make it here forward with some great EMPs versus those Vipers. We might see some blinding clouds on the ground versus the tanks. Now we actually see some abducts and a second abduct. So a nice combo here by Dark, but still MARU holds his ground. He holds this expansion as he's being able to push back Dark. And yeah, those Ghosts now going really strong here. And let's have a look what exactly the plans from Dark are. What exactly is he transitioning for? Because he still has some Swarm Host. Of course, he needs more energy towards those Vipers, as slowly but steadily we're closing here towards the end of the game. Still anyone's game, as you can see from the timer. And let's have a look once again. Another Swarm has been added, so we might see some Swarm Host once again being launched here by Dark. He still has some Zerglings on the ground. He needs however many Banelings versus this Ghost army, versus this Hellbat army, as MARU now finds the confidence to move here forward with a less army than Dark. And I believe he's heading straight towards the expansion points, but we still see the Swarm Host being alive. Dark needs to be careful, they're pretty much exposed as he launches the first wave. The tanks are nicely being spreaded here by MARU as the siege continues here versus Dark. So quite important for you as a Terran just to spread those tanks as much as possible, especially against so much of a Zerg. Dark tries to come in from the back, where he's heading straight towards this one expansion point. He knows that the Terran army isn't really that mobile, as so many SCVs will be killed here. 10 SCVs all of a sudden, as yeah, now MARU pretty much exposed. His tanks have been sieged up. His Ghosts are trying to come back here. Nice sniping going on against those Lurkers on the ground. 23 SCVs however have been killed on the map. So yeah, really great stuff here by Dark, as more is getting lost here by MARU. MARU dropping to 70 workers. Even 13 workers have fallen here, so the Lurkers really dealing some great splash damage here against MARU. Nice multiple attack here by Dark, as he's all over the map here, just launching attack after attack versus the economy from MARU. And we actually have so many Ghosts now on the ground. Still 2 Banshees, still some tanks will be here left alive just to take care of the reinforcements for Dark. So MARU really crippling, but in the end those 101 workers only dropped to 72, so his SCV count is still alive, still strong. I believe Dark thinks that he has the advantage, but in the end the worker count is pretty much the same, as once again Dark is attacking with some upgraded Zerglings. Hellbats should be able to take care of this, but at the same time Dark is moving here forward. Some drones have to be pulled as the army from Dark all of a sudden has dropped. So is this going to be enough for him? From Vipers are still casting blinding clouds. So many Ghosts are in the back, sniping everything they can, and yes indeed, MARU somehow miraculously came back into this game. So what a crazy back and forward game we have here in between these two pro players. What crazy strategies indeed. Swarm Hosts versus those Cyclones, versus the tanks, versus the Banshees in the air. Really great stuff. And MARU with 101 workers, quite a rare sight, quite a great macro game by him. And yeah, in the end, somehow he made it possible with his strange looking army composition, strange units indeed, very rarely seen. Quite a nice game here in between these two pros. At one point I was thinking, of course, that Dark was way far ahead. In the end, he even sniped 13 SCVs, but still MARU holding on. And yeah, somehow miraculously coming back. This just shows that you should never GG out of a game, especially as a Terran or a Protoss versus a Zerg. And yeah, MARU making it possible, winning this game. Very close game, a very interesting game. We look at that, even in the end he had 800 APM, so quite a stressful game here for him. Yeah, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. We'll be seeing, of course, in the next replays. This is Tommy signing out.